I love this. Journalists demand. My favorite topic. You have like forums upon forums of people demanding the opposite, but I guess they just don't work for a multi-billion-dollar corporation, so their voice doesn't matter. The actual customers. No, no, no. Listen to the journalists because they have the wisdom of the Democrats. They have been anointed by the academia through the corporations. Okay, so what do they demand? They demand better from horror visual novels from a culture that is from even another part of the world, right? So they want American imperialism. Like, no, we in America demand that you, Japan, bend to our will and sensibilities. Like, stop doing the culture that your mommy and daddy from Japan taught. No, 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 no. You do what we journalists tell you. And by the way, we're not going to buy your game anyway, because fuck you, that's right. I mean, we get free review copies, don't we? So they're talking about Spirit Hunter Death Mark 2. I haven't played it, to be honest, but now that I know it's having sexist tropes, I have to play it. It's edgy, isn't it? Like when I was a kid, if someone told me, don't listen to heavy metal because it's the music of the devil, well, I have to listen now. I just like, right? It's the same. It's like it's have sexist tropes. I have to play it. I have to play it. Like, I have no choice. Look what you've done to me. I was so busy. I have so much to do. But now I have to play this game because, look, you can just Google porn. Well, sure, and I hope you find this game then, because, my god, if I play this game and it doesn't have porn in it, can I sue this journalist? Can I sue them? Like, if I play it and it doesn't have pornography, like can I do it? Like, no, it was false advertising. You lied to me. You misled me. You made me spend my money on something that wasn't what you said it was. So anyway, the slight bulge of a schoolboy's groin can be clearly seen with his trousers, which have been torn away in Death Mark 2, lingers of an image of him being eaten alive. I love the fact that him being eaten alive, head first, right? Like him dying, that's no problem. I mean, we have that in America, right? We have that with It the Clown. We have that with The Walking Dead. We have that with American slashers. Like, that's fine. Like, we're comfortable with gore, but he's got a bulge, and that's no. I mean, like we as America, like we're fine with blood and gore, but we're drawing a line at sexual. Come on. Elsewhere, a teenager presses his exposed underwear against his teacher's back, seductively wrapping his hands around her waist. Asking for or receiving her consent. By the way, isn't this like what America did in the 80s? Like what? So like America used to do it, now it's not okay for Japan to do it. Is this what you're saying? Because in the United States, like American Pie was a thing. All the slasher movies, like Friday the 13th, and all of this thing with the teenagers going in a cabin in the woods, and they're doing the ficky, and then the killer comes up, and like you already did this. America already did all of these things, but now we have to pretend that history has been erased, right? Like America never did these things. They never profited from this industry, and it's just unacceptable for Japan to do it today. Like there is something inherently wrong with Japan making adult games for adults. This no. So does any of the above sound gross? Yes, but like, did it occur to you that people want to play gross things? Like Silent Hill, right? You have like the nurses covered in blood, and you have like a guy that walks around with an axe and hits women in the head. Like these are video games, they're fiction, right? And people are attracted to gross things. Like again, when I grew up, my parents were freaked out over the fact that I liked slasher movies. Like I really love this genre. I loved all of the American classics, the Nightmare on Elm Street, Gremlins. It also was very problematic at the time. Critters, like a lot of movies from America that I grew up with, especially B-rated horror films. And my parents thought that I'm going to grow up as a psychopath. Like, oh my god, like look how much blood and gore it's in the movies that you're watching. Like Jesus, like you're going to grow up insane. Turns out I grew up just fine. It's like it was the adrenaline that I was getting from watching it. And certainly, this video game is not for me. Like, what's being described here is nothing that I would play at this age. It's probably something that I would play when I was a teenager. So, like, what, you're saying that teenagers shouldn't be able to enjoy these things? Like if someone is 18 years old, he should not be able to play this video game? Like what should teenagers play? That's a good question. What should teenagers play? Baldur's Gate probably, huh? The bear sex scene. That's what teenagers should play. Because apparently, like, this is over the top, right? Like, all the video games should be made for boomers. For people in the age of 40, like, this is what video games should be made. We should not make any type of entertainment for the younger people. I see. So, does any of the above sound gross, unnecessary, ridiculous, offensive? Then you might be relieved to learn that none of the men in the visual novel-style horror game are ever disrespected or disfigured in this way. The women, however. Yeah, but like if you want to see men disrespected, you play Western games. If you want to see apparently women disrespected, you play Japanese games. There's something for everyone. What is it with this obsession that journalists have with removing choice? Like why do they keep insisting on it? Right? If you want to see men disrespected, go play some Western video games. Like the boss lady is, just watch some Marvel movies or some shit. See how they disrespected Thor in the last Marvel movie so that Captain Marvel can take the shining. This game doesn't just physically, emotionally, and spiritually ruin women. Like, let me stop you right there, by the way. They're not women, okay? They're fictional characters. They're make-believe, fantasy. You know what that is, right? They're not real people. But maybe, you know what? I think that the Japanese are making games so good that journalists, they think it's real people. Like, this is how immersive the game is. They genuinely think, wow, these are real women. It seems to enjoy ruining women and girls in all sorts of ways. It never does its men. Yeah, but like, again, the reason it does so is because usually when you see a guy like Kratos getting hurt, like it doesn't really mean anything. It's like, well, it's Kratos. Of course he's going to get hurt, right? But when you see an anime getting hurt, like your lizard brain makes you feel adrenaline. It makes you feel anger to the thing that hurt her. Like the way video game journalists react, I think, it's like when they watch Lion King and they see Pumbaa falling into the stampede. They think that is so that you can empathize with Scar and so that people can cheer Pumbaa dying. But normal people are like, no, Scar is a piece of shit. And that scene is important to set the rest of the story, right? I mean, that scene is offensive. You have like a father dying while trying to save his son. It's a very offensive scene. You can, and the question is that from the journalist, like, can you not make Lion King without the character dying? Or like when Bambi's mom gets shot by the hunter, right? A journalist would look at it, and in fact, like PETA genuinely does, and they're like, oh, this is encouraging hunting. This is, is so that you can sympathize with the human because you're a human as well. And if the human does it, it's representative, right? But in reality, what it does is like, okay, Bambi's mom died. Sure, you can have like the cartoon without that scene happening. You can start with Bambi already being an orphan. But it's so impactful that it makes you care about Bambi. It creates this feeling of where you want to keep Bambi safe. And you're at the edge of the seat to see how Bambi is going to survive and how he's going to get past this predicament, right? So, yes, women in this video game are fictional characters, and it's okay to kill off fictional characters like George R.R. Martin does in order to make it so that the viewer gets invested. Like, one of the reasons I got invested into Game of Thrones was because of how poorly Daenerys was being treated. Like, she's being sold off by her brother to this barbarian, and the barbarian doesn't really care about her at all and starts just, like, bending her over and starting to do sex with her. So you're like, you want to see the brother suffer for what he did. You want to see him punished. You want justice. You want to see how Daenerys manages to get control of the situation. Like, all of these things is, like, what the normal person thinks when it sees it. But apparently, like, a journalist goes like, no, you're supposed to empathize with the brother because you're a man, he's a man, so therefore, like, all of this is sexist and has to be erased. But anyway, right, from PC Gamer, of course. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.